What's up? Welcome to the Tedeschi Trucks Podcast. This is episode number 29, and I am Adam Choit. To follow this show, it's at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram, and I'm at Adam Choit on Instagram as well if you want to follow me. And I have no affiliation with Tedeschi Trucks Band. This is not an official podcast. I am just a big fan. And if you're listening, I'm guessing there's a good chance that you might be too. So please be sure to subscribe to the show and give it a positive review on iTunes. Doing those things is definitely appreciated and helpful for sure. So for today's episode, solo episode, I thought I might talk about Mike Mattison, Mark Rivers, and Alecia Chakour, the three backup vocalists in Tedeschi Trucks. And they all do leads on songs, lead vocals as well, and sing lead on some songs and sing verses and all kinds of things. And their contributions to the band are awesome and appreciated by me and all the other TTB fans out there. So I thought I'd show them some love for sure. And for the first time, other than the intro and the outro to this podcast, I'm going to use some clips, some audio, some music clips for this episode. So that should be fun. I took them all from archive.org from live shows. I hope that's cool. I'm going to give credit to all the tapers. The tapers are definitely very much appreciated. I love all the tapers. You guys are awesome. You guys are really keeping me going in many ways. In some regard, the fact that I have all this live TTB music and live music to listen to, especially during this time where I'm working from home and spending the majority of my days from home, for better or worse. I'm listening to the music that you guys have all taken the time and the efforts to record at shows, and I definitely appreciate it. And I can't say that enough. So let's see what I got here. I think I got 10 clips here. I got 3 Mike, 3 Mark, and 3 Alecia, and then another clip with all of them actually in there. So I'm going to start to, I'll just play these clips. I'll intro them, I'll play them, I'll react to them, and we'll move along. It's just going to kind of, that's how it's going to kind of go. All right, so let's just get into it. The first clip here is going to be highlighting Mike Mattison singing Down in the Flood. Of course, that's a Bob Dylan song, and it was recorded with the Tedeschi Trucks Band when Mike was part of that. So here you go.
Water's gonna overflow. Swamp's gonna rise, no boat's gonna roll. Now you can train on down to Williams Pond. You can bust your feet and you can rock this joint. But mama, ain't you gonna miss your best friend now?
That's just awesome. I love that. I love that song. I love what Mike does. I love the band. And I think that's how I'm going to react to a lot of these clips, or actually pretty much all of them. So I'm just warning you guys about that. I probably will go full fanboy for my reactions to a lot of these. But Mike is just great. He's got that smoky voice, bluesy style, and what Tedeschi Trucks Band and then TTB did with Down in the Flood, the Bob Dylan song, to make it their own is just cool. So let's move on to the next clip. Oh, you know what? Before I move on to the next clip, I actually wanted to give credit to Ed Gendelman, who recorded that song, Down in the Flood. That was actually from the Ryman. I believe the last show TTB did before all these shutdowns. From Feb 29th in Nashville, Tennessee. But moving on, the next track is Mark Rivers. It's a Mark Rivers part on the song Shelter, which is a TTB song from Revelator. And this is recorded by user Jeff Frank on archive.org from Chicago, January 27th, 2018. So let's hear Mark Rivers doing this part on Shelter. like that. That's cool. The power, the feeling, the soul. It's great. Great job by Mark Rivers there, for sure. And that part is actually sort of towards the middle-ish of the song. I think it's right before Derek's solo, and after that vocal part comes another Derek solo, I believe. But yeah, it's a cool song, Shelter, and that's a great part by Mark Rivers. Moving on, our next track here will highlight Alecia Chakour singing a verse from Let's Go Get Stoned, a song originally recorded by the Coasters in 1965, I believe made more famous, of course, by Ray Charles, and recorded and performed by many, many others over the years. So let's hear Let's Go Get Stoned, a verse by Alecia Chakour. What a cool sound. Damn, that's awesome. Sassy, bluesy. Of course, a great version by TTB live. I love to hear the crowd reactions too, because you can tell that they feel the same way, or many of them feel the same way, as me, and, by the way I'm describing my reaction to Alecia and to the band. But yeah, that's great. They do great versions of that song. They do lots of different, all the different vocalists get a verse in that song live typically. But yeah, Let's Go Get Stoned. Moving on, though, our next clip here is, you know what? I keep forgetting to mention the who recorded that. That was S. Bryant, user from archive.org, and that was from Dallas, November 7th, 2019. But yeah, moving on, this will be a Mike Mattison clip, Crying Over You, which of course is a TTB song off the album Let Me Get By. And this is from the Beacon from October 1st, 2016. Another Ed Gendelman, Ed Tyre, Tyre user clip. So here you go. Mike Mattison, Crying Over You. There's Mike Mattison for you, sounding great as always. I don't think I've ever heard Mike, Mark, Alecia, Susan, any of them ever like miss a note. Maybe miss a lyric or come in a little earlier or later, something like that. But in terms of like singing and their ability, they're true professionals and great. And honestly, like the three of them, they could be definitely fronting their own bands for sure. Part of me, or most of me, is glad that they're not, and they're part of TTB, because I love them in the band, but they all have the talent to to lead their own bands for sure. But getting into our next clip here, it's another Mark Rivers clip, and it is him doing a vocal part from Bound for Glory, which is from Revelator album. And that was recorded. This is actually from a show I was at myself, September 17th, 2016, recorded by user Mark Patamus, Patamus was the taper for this one. But let's hear Mark Rivers doing the little outro vocal part on Bound for Glory.
Can you feel it? Can you feel? Oh, can you feel that? Oh, glory bound. Can you feel that? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Oh, glory bound. Feel it in your hands. Put your hands together. Put your hands together. Yeah. Feel it in your hands. Put your hands together. Yeah. Feel it in your hands. Put your hands together. Put your hands together. Yeah. Feel it in your hands.
Wow. Take me to church, my friend. Yeah, just the power and the emotion, the soul, the talent of Mark Rivers is definitely on display there for sure. And really, I joke when I say "Take Me to Church" and that song, and that that kind of has a little bit of a gospel-y feel to it, for sure. But TTB, Tedeschi Trucks Band, definitely has a spiritual quality to them. And I've had this conversation with other people that when you go to a show, it is sort of a spiritual experience and an emotional release in many ways, and helping bring about those feelings for sure are great songs like "Bound for Glory" and great vocal parts like that from Mark Rivers. But yeah, let's move on to the next one here. That is going to be Alecia doing a verse on "Idle Wind," something I think they recently started doing, giving her a verse or two on that song. And that, again, is from the last show at the Ryman in Nashville back in February. And "Idle Wind" is from the album Made Up Mind. And here's Alecia Chakour. Very cool. That sounds great, and it's funny because when you first hear maybe Alecia sing a verse on that song for the first time after hearing Susan do that part over and over again so many times over the years, it almost catches you off guard a little bit. But after hearing it, not even after hearing it once, after hearing a couple of sentences, a couple of words from Alecia, you're like, oh, that's great too. That could have been the song. That could have been the part. It could have been her. They're all just so talented, all these vocalists and all these musicians in the band. And they all have their own styles and voices too, which is great. And of course, they complement each other in such an amazing fashion, harmonizing or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I mean, Alicia's got sort of definitely a different sound than Susan. And I think that's great and definitely benefits the band for sure. But yeah, let's get into the next clip here. This is actually another Mike clip here. Mike Mattison doing "Right on Time" off "Let Me Get By," and this is also from the September 17th, 2016 show at the Orpheum that I was at, recorded by Mike Patamus. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. One of those has got to be right. But anyway, here's Mike doing "Right on Time."
Miracle that's come undone, the complications of the week. What is it that you like? What is it that you see? Just a smile, come alive, when you share the wine, with the love. sunshine.
Awesome. Yeah, right on time. What a cool song. Sort of an old school jazzy feel to it even. The first time I heard that, I was not even sure that was Mike Mattison doing vocals. I believe that's a little bit deeper than he usually goes in terms of pitch or whatever. But that's definitely a cool song for sure. And great horn stuff, horn parts on that song as well. Yeah, let's move on to the next clip here, which is going to be another Mark part, and this is him singing a verse from the song "You Ain't Going Nowhere." Of course, originally a Bob Dylan song. And this is also from the Orpheum, the show I was at. Mike Patamus did that, recorded that, of course. And let's just get into it. Here's Mark doing a verse from You Ain't Going Nowhere.
Genghis Khan, he could not keep all of his kings supplied with sleep. Climb that hill, no matter how steep. Going nowhere. Moving, riding high. Tomorrow's the day my God will come. Oh, we gonna fly down in the east.
Nah, I figured I'd keep the the verse in there toward the end. Get a little Susan in there as well, and just to hear how well all the voices sound together is just fantastic. And I don't even really use the word fantastic now that I think about it. And it sounds kind of weird coming out of my mouth, but it's definitely used correctly and appropriately there. And it's great to hear Mark sing anytime he gets the lead vocals, and especially so on a legendary song like that. And he did a great job and does a great job, as he always does. But moving on, actually, let's do one from the same song, the same show, different verse. Here's Alecia doing her verse on You Ain't Going Nowhere. It's just cool to hear the band, especially on a song like that, go from one vocalist to the next, from verse to verse. Such variety. It just keeps everything fresh and interesting and awesome. Not that it's not interesting and awesome when Susan, sings a full song on her own or whatever, but just another element to this band. And I always talk about how awesome it is, how they can have different, besides structures within a song itself, literal lineups can be different. You can go one horn, two horn, three horns, one drummer, two vocalists, just Susan. There's just so many different, bands within the band that just, give the band just probably unlimited creativity, really, and options, which is cool, and will probably keep things fresh for the band as they move forward as well. But for my final clip here, I'm going to play Signs, High Times, of course, off the most recent album, Signs. And this was recorded by Chuck M. from archive.org. And it's from July 26th, 2019 at Red Rocks. And what this clip is going to highlight all three singers, all three backup singers. And I think Susan's in this as well, of course. And just the interplay and the back and forth between the different singers on this song, I think, is particularly cool and particularly awesome, because they don't do, I think, a lot of this in a lot of their songs. Either it's, a vocalist will get a verse or a full song, or just do backup vocals and harmonies and things like that. But this is some lines going back and forth, which is awesome and cool and great. that they put this, I think, on the first, it's the first song on the new album. And, well, I shouldn't say it's new. I guess it's new. The newest album. And I sort of think it's a really good introduction to the album and to the band. The fact that you get all the singers sort of like, almost like working together as a team in some sense. The way this track is constructed. But let's just get into it. Here's Signs High Times. What a rockin' tune. I love that. And I think that, again, that's awesome. Just the way they constructed that song and have that interplay and that back and forth between all the vocalists really in the band. And I think that's great that that's the first track on the album, because I think it really sets the tone as like, here, this is what we are. We are TTB. We have all these singers. We have all these parts, and we're going to just come right at you and not hold back anything. And not hold anyone in the band back, but everyone sort of fits into their role and into their place, and everything just, like, you know, it fits. I'm not sure what else to say about that, but yeah, that's all the clips I have for today. I hope the tapers are cool with me using those. I definitely appreciate them. Again, what they do is totally awesome, and I appreciate Mike, Mark, Alecia. The rest of TTB, they're all awesome. They're all great. I've met pretty much all of them over the years. They've all been super nice to me. Mike, Mark, and Alecia, are included in that, of course. But for now, check out Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram. That's at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast. And of course, remember to tap subscribe or follow on iTunes, Spotify, or via whichever way you listen to this show. And again, positive reviews on iTunes are greatly appreciated as well. And yeah, I hope you guys are hanging in there during this super fun 2020. I'll try not to say "and yeah" too many more times in this episode and moving forward, but it is one of my favorite phrases. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, guys, and let's talk soon. Later.